Hey, welcome back to Fresh Gaming News. So today we have had the specifications revealed for the God of War Ragnarok PC port, and we can see that it is very, very unoptimized as far as this image goes, because it's showing that in order to get 1440p 60 FPS high settings, you need a 3070, not even a 1070 would be great, but it's a 3070 and a 6800, which is significantly more than what the PS5 is for the same kind of performance and resolution. So, yeah, it's coming out September 19th, and in order to get 1440p 60, which the PS5 could easily do, in fact, actually, the PS5 could do 1440p at around like 90 FPS, as shown here. But there is a 60 FPS locked mode, which runs at a slightly higher resolution. It was like 1600p or about that much, but they don't have that on this, so I'm just going to assume it's like 1440p, just based on this. But anyway, the PS5 is nowhere near as good as a 3070 or a 6800. The 6800 is the same architecture, and it's using about 16 teraflops compared to 10 teraflops on the PS5. Not to mention the game is also under 100 GB, and this is showing 108 GB. But to be fair, that's probably due to like the install. They need like double the space for the install, because they usually do that. So I'm not too worried about that, to be honest, because I'm sure this is like a lot bigger than what they need, and they just needed like double the space. So it's probably like half this. But like a 6800 to play the game at 1440p 60 is like ridiculous, and this is just like proof that they don't really optimize their games, because I remember when God of War came out on the PC, like that also was pretty unoptimized as far as like graphics power is used, because like on the Steam Deck you could barely run the game at like 720p 60 when the game runs on a base PS4, which the Steam Deck is better than a base PS4, let's be real. And it's barely like it could run that game at like 1080p 30 plus FPS if you unlock it with the original version of the game, because I don't know if anyone knows this, but the original version of the game had an unlocked frame rate, and then they eventually patched it back in for the PS5 version to be at 60 FPS again. But if you play the original version of God of War P 2018 on PS4, you can get it running at like higher than 30 FPS. But then when they actually updated it, they put a 30 FPS cap in there, which was interesting, because most people are like, oh, I don't like uncapped frame rates, we've got to make it locked to 30. But nowadays, it's like with VRR, nobody really gives a shit, so it's kind of like, you should have just had that as an option instead of forcefully making it 60 or 30 FPS. But whatever, it is what it is. They've added a 60 FPS mode back into the game now, so it doesn't really matter too much. But there are a lot of games, like The Last Guardian, that have a 60 FPS cap in the original version, but then they made it 30, so you have to like have the original update version, the original disc version, to get it to run at 60, which is kind of annoying, but that's irrelevant right now. The thing is, there is no way this game needs a 3070 to run at 1440p 60 high settings when the PS5 version can run at above 1440p 60, like it's running at 1440p 90 FPS using the PS5. So this doesn't make any sense, and I kind of hope they have optimized it a bit more, but apparently they haven't. But maybe this is like a really high-end like threshold for what they're wanting or something. I guess we'll find out when the benchmarks come out. But like as for this, it doesn't look good, and I really wish they would just optimize their games more. Like I know that because it's on the PS5, it's easier for them to optimize it because it's just one platform, and they're using like special hardware to make it easier to run. But like even so, this is ridiculous. Like the 6800 is 16 teraflops, which is like 60% more than a PS5. So there is no way you need 60% more power to run at the same or lower frame rate, really, because as I showed earlier, the PS5 is running this game at 1440p 90 FPS, not 60, 90. And before everybody talks about, oh, well, it's using high settings and the PS5 is using low, no, the PS5 is not using low settings, it's using like higher ultra settings. Because this game was originally a PS4 game, and there is no way they weren't using the best graphics possible for the PS5 version, considering it was using PS4 graphics originally, and they were upgrading it for PS5. And even if they are using not the ultra best settings, I really doubt they're using like anything noticeable on the ultra settings that aren't as good as like the high settings, because especially in God of War, the original in 2018 on a PC port, the graphics are pretty much the exact same. Like there were some minor tweaks like the LOD and stuff, but like overall the game pretty much looked the same as the PS4 version. So like I'm not really worried about that. But like if they are using medium settings on the PS5 and this is high, I don't think it's going to be much better, really. I don't, because the PS5 was also already using like the best quality graphics anyway, so I don't think that's an excuse. But anyway, what do you think? Are you excited for this God of War Ragnarok PC port? Are you gonna play it? Are you worried about the fact that it looks incredibly demanding for no real reason? Tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys next time with Fresh Gaming News. Bye bye.